Alia Bhatt, Ananya Panday, Sonakshi Sinha, they've all been your clients. How do they maintain a healthy diet despite really hectic schedules?
Alia came to us many years ago. We corrected her lifestyle. In fact, we gave her more food than she was eating, which really helped her to lose weight. The right way of losing weight is 1% of your body weight per week. I was thin, I was everything, but I had no glow. I was falling still sick every 3 months.
So, can you still be eating rice and roti and still lose weight?
First is, of course, papad. And the second, believe it or not, but bhujia.
You're shattering some things right now inside me. And is the butter toast a part of the diet that you give?
Yeah, I have never eaten a toast without butter. Never, never, never.
As much protein as you can get is good for you, right?
No, too much protein is bad. You don't lose any weight.
But see, you've lost me already. And can you lose weight with just working out and no restriction of food?
Not really. You can gain weight like that. Dehydration is one of the biggest problem all of us are facing. Causes constipation, urinary tract infection, clogged skin.
So the hottest topic right now, if we're talking about weight loss, is Ozempic. What's your take on that? You know that feeling when you've been eating clean, working out, doing everything right, and yet the scale just doesn't move? It messes with your head, it messes with your confidence. This episode is for anyone who's ever stared at their reflection and wondered, what more do I have to do to lose that weight? Certified and celebrated nutritionist Suman Agarwal joins me to pull back the curtain on weight loss. The hormones, the hidden triggers, the quick fixes were sold and the science were not told. From Alia Bhatt, Ananya Panday to the Ambanis, she's shaped the wellness of India's elite. But today, she's telling you the truth most don't hear. If you're someone who's hell-bent on elevating your mindset and improving your lifestyle, subscribe to this channel. We have lots more coming for you. And here's a little extra added bonus. We didn't just want to make another video about health, we wanted it to change someone's life. That's why we're so thrilled to share that Suman Agarwal, who's worked with dozens of stars and celebrities, is offering a free one-on-one consult to help one viewer break past their weight loss plateau and finally feel in control of their health with zero fads and all science. Comment below to be considered. We'd love for it to be you. So how did your journey start?
Me and health were together from childhood because the breakfast conversation was only about food and the health. Our breakfast table conversation with my dad was, what is the benefit of this chiku and how you can be healthy? Why have you fallen sick? Why you have cold? Why you have cough? This is not done. Must have done something wrong. So it was always that. He only wanted us to be really healthy. So at one time, without us knowing, being vegetarian, he used to mix raw eggs into our milk and give us, and we never knew. And we used to all puke, and they said, no, nothing wrong. Maybe the milk is bad. And we imagined we were so young, we didn't know, and we used to drink that milk.
Oh my
He was so
God.
much into health. I started reading books on health from the age of 12, 13.
Oh wow. Wow.
And I wanted to do medicine, but being Marwadi, and then my father said, how will you become a doctor? You'll get married much before that. You know how long it takes. You're married by 20 was very important. So I just did science, and then I got married, and then after marriage, immediately I got a baby. So after all the three kids were born, and I kept on studying more and more about nutrition, then I thought that my innate desire is to be healthy because I was really sick. I was to be
Okay.
sick all the time with cold and cough, and uh, tonsils were really bad. So I thought, I'm sure there is a formula where you just don't fall sick. And I wanted to crack that formula. So that's how then when I knew about this course, which was Oxford affiliated, I did the course, and it was like enlightenment for me. My God, what is this? Then I balanced my diet and I just stopped falling sick. I don't get cold and cough.
Wow. But now everyone is coming to you for weight loss. So the hottest topic right now, if we're talking about weight loss, is Ozempic. What's your take on that?
You should avoid if you can.
How many are taking it
Mhm.
and crediting workouts and nutrition?
So, Ozempic can actually really ruin your health. And the biggest problem with Ozempic is people are taking it just to cut down their hunger. And of course, they are eating less, but because they are eating so less, they don't have any energy to work out. And they are lose. The biggest problem with Ozempic is sarcopenia, which is huge amount of muscle loss. So, and metabolism drop. So they literally have to be Ozempic for a very, very long time if they don't want to gain the weight back. We have a one gentleman coming, he's taking Ozempic since 3 to 4 years or maybe little lesser. He's lost 8 kilos, but he's gained almost six back. Taking Ozempic, doing everything, but of course not exercising, not eating healthily. We have people coming back with taking Ozempic and very high levels of fatty liver. Now, what happens if you lose weight suddenly? It increases the fatty acid release in your blood, and that can actually get deposited in your liver. So you can get really high amounts of fats in your liver, which is also not very desirable. So it's not that we are saying people don't have Ozempic. If they are coming with Ozempic, we are telling them make sure you have enough protein and you're working out. Otherwise, you're dependent on life for that, or you're going to stop and gain back everything.
Hmm.
Now, a second problem with Ozempic is that your gut dysbiosis, whole gut gets ruined. So you have a lot of vomiting spells and other issues. So you need to be really, really sure. And if it should be taken by people who have who are morbidly obese or who are highly diabetic, which can really help to bring their sugar levels down and their resultant cholesterol levels and other things, but should not be taken just for weight loss.
If you see someone, can you tell they've taken Ozempic?
So yeah, when you lose muscle, you lose from everywhere, right? You also lose from your face. So you lose muscle from your face.
So
Then
your
it looks
face structure
gaunt. Yeah,
entirely
yeah.
changes.
That's you can make out people who are taking.
Mm.
But we did have one girl coming with to us with she was taking Monjaro
So it's an injection that you take, and you
once a
can take it
week.
at home
Yeah,
once a week.
yeah.
And Ozempic and Mounjaro, what is the difference?
So they have a different chemical, both of them, and they have similar work action. People prefer Monjaro as vis-a-vis Ozempic. They think side effects of Ozempic are much higher than Monjaro. And
Okay.
so this young girl came to us. She was 130 kgs and she was young, so she was looking ahead to get married. She was not able to control her hunger. So she in fact started the Ozempic or Monjaro and came to us. So it was a good thing because we really pushed her to exercise and we gave her a very healthy diet. She did manage to lose 35 kgs and she's doing pretty well. She's still continuing. So if you are like someone who wants to take Ozempic, they make sure that you're on a very good nutrition and exercise plan.
You have to balance it,
Yeah.
the Ozempic.
But the best way to lose weight is naturally.
What is your take on plastic surgery for weight loss? Um, that's a huge, I mean, we
Yeah.
feel like that's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah. So I have seen people doing stomach stapling and doing liposuction. So I have seen many, many, many cases of these. They all have gained back the weight and in not in a right manner like other
Mm.
places. And so it is all these are short term fixes, all short term fixes. So maybe it's beneficial for Bollywood because if they are doing, I don't know anyone doing, but because they have very short timeline and they have to lose weight during that time. So maybe for them.
What is the most unhealthy thing people are doing in the name of weight loss? That maybe you look at and you cringe. You know
Yeah,
that.
going vegan maybe. It's really, I know it's really controversial, but some vegan is something they really ruin their health in a long way, especially for if a person is a pregnant woman or a lactating woman, being vegan is not the best thing to do. So that is one thing I don't agree with
Hmm. But what if
veganism.
you're not pregnant or lactating?
Still you will lose cholesterol as an option in your nutrition. Cholesterol is important for, of course, brain development, but also cholesterol maintains the myelin sheath in your the all the neurons and the nerves in your brain are covered with a myelin sheath. It maintains that B12 and the cholesterol, so that becomes very less, and then you can have irreversible brain damage, nerve damage.
Hmm.
So because of being vegan in a long term, not like you started vegan and within 2 3 months you'll
Yeah,
have
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So and plus also because you don't have any first class protein, all the proteins are second class like pulses and nuts etc and tofu, all second class proteins. So you have protein deficiencies. You can make out a vegan because again they have lines faster on their face. Mm.
Oh. So basically, milk is amazing for the skin, is something that I've definitely taken away from this conversation.
Yeah, if you're lactose intolerant, then curd and paneer.
Yeah,
And if you're non-vegetarian, you don't have to have milk protein because
yeah,
you're getting your cholesterol and first-class protein for
yeah.
meat, fish, chicken, and eggs.
Correct, correct. Alia Bhatt, Ananya Panday, Sonakshi Sinha, they've all been your clients.
Hmm.
How do they maintain a healthy diet despite really hectic schedules?
So the diets made for them are different because if they are like suppose if they are shooting, so they suppose it's a night shoot, so we make their diet differently. But all of them are very particular about their food because they know they need the food for the energy to look good and to have better immunity and skin and hair. So they of course they have their whole battalion of people who help them to maintain their diet. And it's not only diet, they also take care of their sleep and their workout. So all of them really work out really hard. Especially, I remember when years ago, actually, Alia came to us many years ago, and she lost some weight with us, and we corrected her lifestyle and gave her a very healthy diet, which really helped her to lose weight. In fact, we gave her more food than she was eating.
Mm, interesting. So, what is that healthy diet that you kind of talk about and stand by?
I tell them that a diet has to be in such a way that whether you're losing weight or gaining weight or doing muscle training, we have actors also coming to build muscle and become muscly. So I said the ground rule is that you should not be falling sick, should not be losing hair, you should not have bad skin, you should not lose your immunity, and you should not lose muscle and bone.
Because if you do, that's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign.
But there is such a big trend today about all these crash diets. Keto. There's this. I know there's a diet from one of these diets from south of India where they make you cut all the foods and then introduce one food
Yeah.
every single week or
Yeah.
something like that. How do you kind of react to that as a nutritionist who's been there for so long?
See, the weight loss is something people need a quick fix. They don't have, nobody has patience. You know, weight gain is a slow process. It doesn't happen in a month, you gain 5 kgs. It doesn't happen. Yeah.
Hmm.
Same way, the weight loss will be a slow process. Okay. What is the right way of losing weight is 1% of your body weight per week. It's a very simple formula. If you're losing more than that, that means you're losing muscle and everything else. So whenever I see those kind of diets, so first I see whether it's balanced with nutrition, which is carb, protein, fats, and fiber for at least 2 to 3 meals in a day. If that is there and they're not falling sick and they're not having any side effect, then it's fine. But most of these fat diets, they all come back to us that we have had this issue, we had back pain, we've had excessive amount of hair fall, all those things they come back to us with where they've had gut dysbiosis, where the whole gut balance have gotten off because they
Hmm.
have removed the like if you remove a particular food group from your diet for a very long time, like I did, I myself a guinea pig. So when I read a book called which is like eat fruits till 12 hours,
Okay.
yeah, so I was a guinea pig. I did that on myself and my whole, and of course, stop any kind of dairy, become vegan. So I was vegan for 3 to 4 years before I studied nutrition. And I was thin, I was everything, but I had no glow. I was falling still sick every 3 months with my tonsillitis or seasonal. And at the same time, my hemoglobin was low, my hair was turning white, and I was having huge amount of hair fall. So I knew there's something wrong which I'm doing. Okay. And of course, being vegan for 3 years, then I could not digest any milk protein. So
Hmm.
I stopped producing lactase to digest lactose because I stopped for such a long time.
And have you been able to go back?
So I can now take, of course, curd and paneer, which are easily digestible, and I can take very little of fat-free milk in my tea.
Okay.
That's
But
all
it's
I can.
but it's basically had a lifelong impact on you.
Yeah, that's what happens when you remove a food group. Like people are going crazy about becoming gluten free.
Yes.
Oh my God, everyone. Oh, we are gluten free and we're lactose free and we want to lose weight. Everyone comes. I said, we have eaten gluten all your life. It's your body is able to digest that protein in gluten. So, and the gluten itself. If you give it up for a long time, then it's an issue.
But when we grew up, and average Indian diet has always been wheat heavy, roti heavy, which is
Yeah.
basically wheat. When did wheat become the enemy?
Exactly. So it is like the new bad boy in the world of nutrition. Nobody, oh, I'm vegan. Either I'm vegan or I'm gluten free and I only eat millets. So that's it's not that the millets are bad. They're really healthy for you. Okay. But wheat is not the bad boy. In fact, wheat is the king of grains
Hmm.
because it has the maximum amount of protein as compared to other grains, because even the wheat has protein and it has good amount of fiber and it has a balance of basic B complexes. I don't know if you've heard about this movie called Dhanak, which was made years ago. It was based out of Rajasthan, where that child who was a stepchild of one parent and was not given any wheat because wheat was scarce in Rajasthan. It was expensive.
Hmm.
Because of
It used
that,
to be the hero.
yes. So, and the millet, she was only given bajra rotis and jawar rotis. And because of that, the child had the blindness.
Oh,
So
wow.
they, you could have deficiency of certain B complexes, which can give rise to this. So one should only do gluten free if they have a condition like Hashimoto, or if you have diabetes and you've checked your levels of sugar going high after eating wheat, or if you have celiac disease, we are not able to digest wheat, or if you have excessive amount of bloating when you're eating wheat, then it works. But you know why the trend started? Because once you give up wheat, you give up all breads.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. So you're not able to have bread and semolina, which is the staple part of your diet. So then you have, like, when you go out, there are limited options because everything has wheat. Every cake, every pastry,
Absolutely.
everything has
Absolutely.
wheat. So flour, basically maida. So you give up that. So then people thought, ki, yeah, we can give this up. So
But there is a difference between maida and wheat, right?
yeah, maida is more easily digestible than wheat.
But wheat is healthier than maida.
Yes.
Okay, but it's harder to digest.
Yeah, because the wheat has that kernel which has that allergen.
Okay. And what about bread? Is bread bad for you?
Like, I'll tell you a comparison. If you can have roti, then have roti, then bread. Yeah. So that way. So roti is healthier than bread
Hmm.
because roti has very less amount of sodium unless you put salt in it, and it has no preservatives, no what you call fermentation, and it has no yeast. Whereas bread has yeast, has sodium,
And
and
it's
has
processed.
processed. So that's why roti is healthier. But for people abroad who are living in Western world and European world, they don't make chapatis. It's
Hmm.
like they don't have the
Yes.
concept. That's why the Indians
And
only
they don't
miss
have the
chapati.
luxury of time as well,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Making
yes.
a roti is.
Yeah, it's very tedious. That's why you'll find America or Europe or London or whichever part of the world, you will get one person to make roti for you and you'll have that fresh roti.
So, can you still be eating rice and roti and still lose weight?
Yeah, our diets never condemn that.
So, what about a carb free diet? What are your thoughts on that?
So, there is something called happy body. Yeah. If your body is not happy with what you're eating, you're not nourishing your soul, and your body will go into a fat preservation mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this anything to do with cortisol?
Yeah. So also in presence of carbs, you'll burn fat. So if you have eaten carbs, you have more energy to exercise. I've seen people who are not eating any carbs, they are on keto diet. It's not that they don't lose weight. Okay, of course, their diet also has to be balanced, but keto diet may be in long term not sustainable and could give rise to many autoimmune disorders which are not reversible. And also, keto diet was very spoken highly for people who have had cancer and all those things, but I have seen that even in that it doesn't work.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, can you be drinking alcohol while you're on a weight loss journey?
Yeah, so we don't ever say no to anyone except five food, which is desserts, ice creams or frozen desserts, and chocolates, and fried, and papad. Can you imagine papad? I
I
just
can
can't handle
imagine.
papad.
I'm half Marwadi, so
Oh,
I have
really?
like grown up eating papad and churroing the papad in your sabji.
Yeah,
That's
aloo
like
ki sabji.
yeah, that is It is the ultimate
Ultimate,
meal, the
yeah.
ultimate dessert, actually.
So when I also grew up, I ate papad really, really often. Then I realized this has to be something wrong with this damn food is really tasty. What's wrong with me? And I don't know, I was so anal about this at that time. And maybe I was like 15, 16 years old. I would not allow, because I could really rule over my younger brothers, sisters. They were not allowed to touch papad in my presence.
But can you tell us why is papad
Because it
bad?
has a lot of sodium and saji, which is like a soda, and it has a lot of fat. People think by roasting papad they have taken away the fat, but I know, I have seen how papad is made. So it has very less nutritional value, and it is little harder to digest, especially in humid places.
Mm.
So people in Rajasthan, etc., where the climate is really dry, you can digest a lot of food better than you can digest in coastal areas. And that's what I understood. And it just is empty calories. You can't afford to have papad, I have seen in today's world.
Okay, and so
So
these are the five
yeah,
things that
five
you
things they
have
should
to
not
stay
have.
away
Yeah.
from.
So now, so alcohol is something which I don't tell my clients, listen, you have to give it up, because no, everyone will stop coming to me if I tell them, listen, don't have alcohol, because it is something socially now accepted. When you are having friends over, you're going out in the night, it's like a social decorum. But so this gentleman came to us, and he was having, he said that have to lose weight. I have fatty liver, and it's 28%. And my doctor has told me not to have alcohol and not to have non-veg. Now I've come to you, and you have to make me have all that and make me lose weight. So,
And get my levels back on
and he
track.
said, I have all my life, I've collected this huge cellar of wines from all the best places in the world, and I have to have them. I said, okay. So we bargained, and we came to wine alternate days, which is not bad.
Not
Yeah.
bad, yeah.
And non-veg every day. I said, you can have maybe chicken twice, thrice in a week, and fish almost every day, but of course low fat ones. And uh, and but we found that why he had fatty liver was because of a metabolic disorder. So we corrected that with medication. We found that he had insulin resistance. We consulted an endocrinologist. We started medication. He started exercising. He started living a healthier life because he was scared. He stopped having binge drinking scenarios. And then he lost 10 kgs in 3 months, and his liver fat became 1% in 3 months.
What is the best alcohol for weight loss?
Everyone thinks it's tequila.
Yeah.
So alcohol, which,
Tequila is the new trend.
yeah, new trend, because it has little bit lesser calories in 60 ml or 30 ml as compared to any other spirits. So for alcohol, I don't tell them have this or that. I tell them what makes you happy, and you can have limited amount, take that.
Interesting.
Mm,
And is tequila good for the skin? Or is this a myth?
it's a myth. All alcohol is bad for your skin and your brain, but limited amount is okay.
Okay. What about ghee versus oil?
Yeah, huge controversy.
Yeah.
So in recent times, like 1 or 2 years, we have everyone coming, oh, we are only cooking in ghee. Is the ghee is the ultimate answer? No, ghee is good for you because it has cholesterol and it has SFA, and it's important for our body to have a good balance of PUFA, MUFA, and SFA. So, but forgetting about MUFA and forgetting about PUFA is not the deal, right? You need to have a balance. So, how about balancing your oil too? So, you need 1:1:1 of PUFA, MUFA, and SFA. So, only ghee can actually raise your cholesterol, give you issues like autoimmune disorders again, because PUFA, which is polyunsaturated fatty acids, have something called essential fatty acids, which is essential for your body, for hormone functions, for immunity sake. So all that gets imbalanced. So what my thing is, I immediately stopped them. I said, I will give you ghee fat in your milk protein.
Mm.
Okay, even if you're having 200 or 300 ml of milk or dahi or paneer, that will have at least 10 to 15 ml of ghee as a hidden fat. So that is enough for you. Then you just make your food in oil, which
Okay.
is peanut oil, which has a balance of PUFA and MUFA, or sunflower oil, any of those oil. but not only olive oil, because olive oil is purely mufa, very, yeah. So that's also an issue.
So you basically need a mix of everything.
Yes. So if their cholesterol HDL is low, I tell them to make their eggs, if they are vegetarians, with olive oil, and their vegetables and everything else in oil. And ghee is coming as hidden in this thing, but butter, toast can be buttered, which is again a part, sort of a ghee.
And is a butter toast a part of the diet that you give?
Yeah, I have never eaten a toast without butter. Never, never, never.
And toast is also a part of the diet.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
no,
I
that's
love
great
my
to know.
eggs and toast in the morning.
Okay.
Or some when I get tired of eating eggs, then I have paneer as my first class protein. Or sometimes when I go, like I have sprouted moong cooked in the morning along with my carbs, with other form of carbs.
Is paneer fattening or is it protein? Or is it a fattening protein?
So yeah,
Because for vegetarians, this is
yes,
the only thing we turn to. Now I
yes,
have kids, so forget my own protein. I have to think about their protein.
yes,
And everything, every time you go to the doctor, they're like, put more protein in them, put more protein in them. And it's just, it's quite
yeah, yeah,
exhausting.
yeah.
But what is the take on paneer?
Paneer is one of the most easily digestible protein. It is rich in calcium, and it is got uh, of course it has lesser amount of carbs, more protein and fat, so little bit comparable to chicken or eggs if you think, and as compared to pulses. So it has calcium, it has got cholesterol, and it has got protein. So three big things, especially for the kids. So more than the protein part in paneer is the cholesterol, because the brain develops on cholesterol. So
Hmm.
that's how it is so important. Either milk, dahi, and paneer or cheese. So all the three things are very, very important. Of course, the fat is high, but you do get low fat paneers too.
What is a low fat paneer now?
So if you make paneer out of the low fat milk, it is low fat paneer.
Okay, and
Mm.
is that a better alternative to?
So depends on the another thing I found, that the fat in the paneer is extremely good for your hair and skin.
Okay,
Yeah. I would never give that fat up so easily unless I have to really crash diet or
okay,
something. So, but someone who's coming with high cholesterol, then we reduce,
and
give
move it to
them,
low
yeah,
fat. What are some, you know, what are some interesting ways to eat the paneer? Because as vegetarians, we all need to.
yeah, yeah. So for breakfast, like a paneer toasty or open paneer toasty with vegetables and Indian spices added, like kali mirchi, namak, and dhania and green chilies. You can also have paneer bhurji in the morning. Have it with thepla. Okay. Then for lunch, you can make palak paneer, matar paneer. Again, paneer in various forms. Paneer paratha. So, and paneer tikkis. There are many ways
Mm,
of eating paneer,
okay,
and same thing for dinner. Or you can have paneer cubes and roast it on
just
tawa
sauteed.
and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
have it.
yeah. How do you know you're getting enough protein? And is there a way to kind of measure how much protein you need to be having?
Yeah, so the paneer is a hidden nutrient in almost all food except sugar, sago, which is sabudana, and fruits.
Okay,
Everything has some amount of protein. Like grains, a 25-gram chapati, flour, not chapati, 25-gram flour will have at least 2.5 grams of protein. Rice will have lesser. Then bread will also have some amount of 1 gram of protein. Vegetables, 100 gram, will have at least 1 or 2 grams of
but see,
protein.
you've lost me already.
Yeah, everything.
That's the
So it's
thing.
very
But
difficult.
how do you know? Like, is there a hack to kind of know that
So that's why we have built a software.
Okay.
I also can't
Okay,
calculate.
okay. So, and basically, you measure.
So, people come, they think, oh, I have taken my 60 grams of protein, or like 70 grams of protein by taking 3 scoops of whey protein. They don't calculate what comes in dals and vegetables and carbs.
But
And
as much protein as you can get is good for you, right?
no, too much protein is bad. You don't lose
Okay.
any weight, because ultimately every gram of protein is 4 calories. So how do you burn that? It's like same amount of carbs. Like 1 gram of carbs is four
Hmm.
calories. Same way, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories.
This is so important because right now we have become a protein obsessed
Junkies.
generation.
Yes. I have children coming with high protein diet, and mother is telling me he's not gaining height, he's not energetic. So only one thing I changed in that child's diet. That mother met me last week only, and she said, Suman, after meeting you, I've just added carbs to his diet. He's grown up really fast after a year and within a year's time, because I met the kid a year ago, and he's so much more energetic, and he stopped falling sick, and he's so happy. So the
What
mothers
kind
are
of
making.
carbs?
So
This is a
I
mom asking.
so how old is your baby?
Two.
Two, okay.
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, so carb, like, um, rice and sabudana, not sabudana, rice, semolina, and
Semolina is rava.
rava.
Okay.
Rice, rava, rotis, pastas. I don't even say no to pastas to
Yeah,
children. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
don't like Maggie. I
Yeah.
hate Maggie from the bottom of my
I
heart.
love Maggie.
Okay.
Like, I love Maggie.
Oh, I love the taste.
Maggie's childhood.
Yes,
It's
for
just
me
like
too. But I found so many things wrong with it. So, which I wrote in my
yeah.
book much before the controversy happened, which is in like Super Kids book, which
Oh,
I,
really?
yes. So I wrote about it, and then the controversy came about the fats and whatever the preservatives and things about Maggie. So I somehow don't agree with Maggie for children. They can have freshly made noodles. Yeah, they can have pasta. That's absolutely okay. And carbs are okay to give to the kids, because now think about yourself, how active you are. And think about a 2 year old. He's just
Yeah.
jumping around
Yeah, of
everywhere.
course,
They
of
need so
course.
much energy, and we are not providing them. So the why the carbs are important for children, because it's the protein sparing effect they have to have, so that
Mm.
protein is spared for height growth, muscle growth, etc., and organ development. Many things the protein have to do, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
is why the protein sparing effect is very important for children.
So I have to ask you because I have you in front of me. So my baby boy, he's 2.5, and he eats very well. Touch wood. Okay,
That's
everyone complains about the kids being fussy eaters. He eats very well, but he puts on no weight.
Yeah,
Like
because
he
he's
is
active.
so small and so skinny. Like he's literally the smallest in his class,
Yeah.
and he's super active, but he puts on no weight, and he eats
Height?
paneer, tofu,
Hmm.
everything. Yeah, but I don't think he's growing at his shoe size has not changed in 1 year. And
Okay.
at this age for it to not change, he's 2.5, his clothes are still,
He has milk?
he has milk, yeah,
Yeah,
once a day,
twice.
twice.
Make it
Okay,
twice
milk
or
is good.
thrice.
Okay. Doctors today, all the pediatricians are
They all
saying
say no
cut the
milk.
milk.
I know. I told just don't listen to the doctors. Listen to me.
Because
So
even
that's
if
what I
my
tell my
son gets a
clients.
cold, the
Hmm.
doctor says, I'll give
Yeah.
you milk,
No.
cut the milk. The
No.
milk is creating a cold.
See, the cold is going to be there because interacting with so many kids, they don't have concept of washing their hands before putting anything in their mouth. So the cross infection is going to be rampant. It's not because of the milk.
Hmm.
So a client came to me with her child who was 1.5 or 2 years old, like a toddler. So she wanted a balanced diet because, of course, the doctors were telling her. So there was a controversial talks. Her mother-in-law saying don't give milk. Doctor is saying give less milk, and she was not gaining height. So and she was falling sick. I made the child's diet with milk in the morning, milk at 4, and milk before sleeping. She was having 600 ml of milk every day. Along with breakfast, she was having either eggs with toast or anything like that, and rice and dal for lunch, and all fancy food and dinner. So I said, after you give milk, whatever gets she wants to eat, you give. But this 600 has to be completed. Now she's on 95th percentile in her height growth. And touch wood, she has enough energy. She jumps around everywhere. She's not fat, she's skinny. And her shoe size changes every year. Don't ask.
Okay, no,
So,
that's
yeah,
interesting because
yeah.
I think every food group is
Mhm.
now overanalyzed and over
Oh,
discussed, right? And I
yes.
think for me, I'm also this is a very interesting conversation because so I had two babies back to back.
Yes.
And before that, I had this thing. So I told you my mom, she's come to you as well, and she's a fitness fanatic. But she would always say this, it's just got a funny thing, but she would say that, she would say, postpone your working out in life. Because once you start working out, you can never stop.
Mm.
And she's like, I will never let you stop once you start. So postpone it as much as you can. As much as your life is kind of keeping you
Keeping you
fit
fitter. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you're happy with your weight and, the way it's looking on you, continue with that, and obviously always listen to your mom. So listening to her, and this is a very newfound concept, right? Because after you have a baby, and in my case, two babies, then your body just has this crazy kind of disformity, and you're suddenly looking at foods
Where
and
is
no, no,
disformity?
now it's fabulous. It's fabulous, but of course, at postpartum is tricky,
Yeah.
right? I think when you first look, and it's just even in pregnancy, you see that whole change that comes in, and people are saying that eat the rasgulla, eat the sandesh, eat this, eat that, while you're pregnant, and um, sometimes you fall for it, and then you eat it, and then you
Yeah.
see the impact of that, and so, but now I'm at that phase where I do look at every food group and I am over analyzing it, and I actually hate it. I
Yeah.
hate that internal stream of thought that, oh, is this good for me? Is this bad for me? I miss the freedom of kind of being in a place where you were just eating whatever you wanted. You were
Yeah.
eating the Cheetos and the Maggie, and you're not thinking, okay, I'll,
No,
I'll
not
balance
Cheetos
this
and
out tomorrow.
Maggie.
I'll balance this out tomorrow, or
Yeah.
like it doesn't really, like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
much of a difference is it going to
Yeah.
make?
Mm.
And now you finally hit this phase where everything matters. And also, I just think it's our exposure, right? Is that everything is over discussed on the internet.
Over discussed.
Yeah.
Like how?
Yeah, and overanalyzed, and then everyone has an opinion, and it's not about whose opinion is right. It's about whose opinion is the loudest. That's
Right.
that's the person that wins.
I hope I can be heard
Yeah.
loudly after today.
No, of course, of course. I think that's the
Yeah.
point,
So,
right? To
but the basic thumb rule should be that avoid packaged food as much as possible if
okay,
you can. If you can get good quality of milk, then go for milk. And if you have lactose intolerance, go for dahi or paneer. Yeah.
okay,
You also get lactose free milk.
yeah,
You can choose to take any.
yeah. And what about the kids? Kids should be having full fat milk, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I told you, if you are a vegetarian, your household is vegetarian, the only source of cholesterol is milk. Nothing else.
Hmm.
Cholesterol is not present in any other food. If you're vegetarian, anything, coconut, nuts, it's not present in anything.
But cholesterol is important. I mean, I've
For,
always thought of it as a negative thing.
yeah, so for pregnant women, for lactating women and children, it is so important for brain development.
But I hate milk.
The paneer and dahi, na?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for your
Okay.
child, so
Yeah,
why
yeah,
a
yeah.
child needs the milk if he's not eating eggs
Yeah.
is because of this.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
if the child is able to have milk from the young age and he can continue to have it, like I had this actress coming to me, and she was looking so bright and great skin, and she was having milk twice in a day. It's a myth. Like Ananya Panday, she has no health issues. She was very good and slim and everything. She just wanted to know whether she's doing the right thing. She was doing everything to the point,
Hmm.
and she had such a fantastic skin. So even that people say that milk is bad for you for the skin, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She does have fantastic skin.
Yeah, and she's
Wow.
always had milk. So what we should also see is what our nowadays every household is a nuclear household. They don't have their parents or in-laws living or nobody to guide them. So that's
That's
why
the
we are
thing.
taking help from the internet and
Yeah,
we're all muddled up.
yeah, yeah.
So that's the
But
issue.
even the moms are taking help, huh? They have this WhatsApp university. They are fully referring to WhatsApp and Instagram.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
amount of
And chat
reels.
GPT for
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
Don't
But the
ask.
amount of reels I get from my mother-in-law and my mom on things to eat,
Yeah.
I'm like, my whole life will be this. Like, either making stuff for the kids or for myself. I won't have time to do anything else if I
Yeah.
keep seeing these
You're
reels
right.
and
You're
making
right.
stuff.
Yeah. Even that client who came with a child, her mother-in-law would not allow her to have milk to the baby.
Hmm.
And if she has left her child with the grandmother for some time, she would just not allow her to have milk. Can you believe it? So I
Yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah.
you. WhatsApp University, what a wonderful
Yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
we call it.
Yeah.
Um, what about that stomach area that most women struggle with? Is there any hack to deal with that?
So yeah, after delivery, that's the one place you put on weight and the stomach becomes loose. The first year, I really did a lot of exercise after the time I was allowed to after my delivery. So and if you have a stomach, even after reaching your ideal weight, after exercising well and after having a balanced meal, then it could be something called insulin resistance. One should look into because the high levels of insulin hormone can actually make you more susceptible to fat deposition on the tummy. So there is something called tofu. Have you heard?
No.
So tofu is thin outside and fat inside. So people who have lost weight not in a healthy manner, so they look very thin, okay, but they have a lot of visceral fat and the stomach jutting out.
Mm.
That's how. Or they have only walked, not done workout. They will have a stomach.
Okay.
So a person who needs to lose weight needs to also do certain at least 15 to 20 minutes of exercise. I'm not saying that go full blown 3 hours of workout 3 times. You can't do it. Like you
Yeah.
have two small children, you're as it is lifting them, roaming around. I can't imagine how much work you must be putting behind your two children. Okay. That's a lot of weight training in itself. Yeah. So, but of course, even 15-20 minutes you
What a
spend.
fantastic way to look at this. Now I'm just feeling so relaxed because I've been meaning to go back to the gym
Yeah.
and I don't have the time right now. I'm
No,
just
you
being
can't
very
go.
honest. I don't
I'm
have
I'm
the
t- I'm
time
not
right
even
now.
telling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to tell myself that I'm doing my weight training every
Yes,
day.
you're doing your weight training. You don't need to do weight training for sure. What you need is a bit of cardio, and for the stomach or like a swim. You
Hmm.
can take your kids for a swim. Swim is at the best exercise for you at this time if you can manage your hair well and the skin well, or maybe like a 20 minutes short burst of exercise which you can do. That's all you can afford, or a 20-minute yoga program if a yoga person can give you.
Hmm.
Certain asanas really help you to tone up your stomach.
Can you lose weight with just a diet but no workout?
You can, but you will be losing muscle.
Hmm.
So the problem is muscle loss.
And can you lose weight with just working out and no restriction on food?
N- Not really. You can gain weight like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you are doing weight training and you're having enough food, so you actually tend to gain muscle. Every fiber of muscle, like say 100 grams of muscle, will have at least 300, 400 grams of water inside them. So you'll gain weight that way.
Hmm.
So a lot of people come to me with doing everything right in their head, which is gluten free, this free, and having enough protein. In fact, only protein, very little carbs, working out twice in a day, and not losing weight but gaining weight. And actually, in their head, after reading everything on internet, they're doing everything right. Right?
Yeah.
You're having low carb, you're having enough protein for your health, and you're really working out, but you're not losing weight. So could be hormonal imbalance, could be the timing of exercise, could be the carb and protein balance. So we look into everything, timings of the meal, and then we suggest them.
Can drinking water help with weight loss?
Actually, yes. Now people will going to like really send a lot of things on the internet for this. So why it helps you to lose weight? First of all, water detoxifies you. It removes everything like what is not wanted in your skin and your gut and everything. And how it helps you to lose weight is I have seen a big set of people who when actually they're thirsty, but they are wanting to have either tea, coffee, or any food to eat, or a fruit or a buttermilk. So I said, listen, before you want to reach out for any food, you first have water. Then, if you're still hungry, then have. And because of this, so many people have just lost weight just because of being mindful about drinking water. Somehow all of us are not drinking enough water. I hardly find anyone who comes to me, oh, I drink 2 liters of water. Yeah, I drink less water because all of us are working, right? We
Yeah.
forget. Like, I've forgotten for this last 1.5 hours.
Yeah. No, I'm very good with my water now.
Yeah, good. That's why you have such
No,
fantastic skin.
thank you.
Yeah.
But how much water is ideal?
Yeah, depending on the place you live, like a person in Dubai needs maybe more if they are more outside, say 2.5 to 3 liters, and Mumbai, because it's very humid, maybe 2 to 2.5 liters, and in very cold places, maybe 3 liters, cold and dry.
Hmm.
Dehydration is one of the biggest problem all of us are facing, causes constipation, causes urinary tract infection, causes clogged skin, many things because of dehydration, headache, migraine. People don't realize.
So the biggest debate right now is should you be eating at regular intervals or should you be doing intermittent fasting and kind of pulling out the intervals? with your
Yeah.
food and meals.
So I'm not for intermittent fasting because I've seen too many bad effects of intermittent fasting.
Okay, and what are they?
So I have seen that intermittent fasting or anyone above, especially women above the age of 35, 40, is really bad. First of all, it causes, stress hormones to go high like cortisol, which is a total, then your body gets into flight and fight mode. Then you have low immunity because you've not eaten for a long time, but maybe still working out or you're still involved in housework or office work and not eating. So how does your body takes care of your immunity? Then thirdly, you start getting so frequent cold and coughs, and then you have also acidity. A lot of people suffer from acidity, and the biggest problem is low metabolism. You start dropping your metabolism because you're actually eating a muscle for energy. So
Mm.
the biggest problem is you're using your muscle for burning your energy, but you suppose you wake up at 6, but you're going to eat at maybe 12. So 6 hours you are working out, you are doing your daily chores. Where is the energy going to come from? How much energy is stored from the last night? Maybe not much, right? And glycogen way. So that is one issue. Then they lose weight, of course, the whole world, because the easiest way to diet, right? Oh, eat only 8 hours and eat anything. And they also have wrong choices of food. So this way, what I have seen is happened is they are making wrong choices. They think they can eat anything during that 8 hour window. They and at the same time they are losing muscle, so metabolism is dropping, so they gain everything back also, many of them,
Mm.
and with such a big huge amount of ton of side effects.
You know who's going to promote this reel the most?
Yeah, who?
My dad.
Really? He
Because my
doesn't
mom
believe.
does IF and he hates it.
Okay.
Because that means that she doesn't have breakfast with him. So
Oh.
he absolutely hates it. So
Yeah.
any reel on IF and
Mhm.
IF being bad is just, he's the biggest promoter of it.
Yeah,
It's sent on
great.
all the
Tell
WhatsApp
him.
groups.
So, what I believe or self care believes is 12-hour fasting. Your first meal and the last meal around should be the same time. Or if you want to do really sort of a little bit elongated time, it can be 14 hours to the maximum fasting. So, I start my day at 9:30 in the morning, and I have my dinner at around 8:30. So, I do around 13 hours of fasting.
Okay. Okay. Just not the
Also, if you
entire
have,
16
yeah,
hours.
not sustenance ever. And also, if you have what people think, because all of us are now in these trends of gadgets which we wear. So, I've been wearing since 5 years.
See, I've just come into this phase, so I'm going to buy one this week.
I'll tell you the best one. So, I believe in Aura Ring.
And why? Why do you prefer that over the others?
Maybe because I'm used to it since 5 years I've been wearing it. I understand how to read HRV, how to read my heart rate and lowest heart rate and balance this, everything about it. And it counts my steps, it counts my calories burn, it counts my it checks my fever on the night, it checks my stress levels. It's like I really trust my ring for, yeah.
So
So
highly recommend this.
highly. I understood that having alcohol late in the evening or having any caffeinated drink late in the evening disturbs my sleep and disturbs my HRV. And watching anything stressful, kind of a movie, also late in the night causes
Mm.
your heart rate to go up. So then your heart rate dips much later in the night. So I have seen that if I have my dinner earlier, say around 7:30 or between 8:30, I sleep much better. Either I have my dinner earlier and have my smoothie. I have a protein smoothie because I'm above 50, right? So I need to have balance of protein. So either I have my protein smoothie later or I have my protein smoothie earlier and have my dinner later. But yeah, my aim is to clock my sleep very well and have my readiness to the highest. So I love this ring, and it is some people say it makes you really anxious, but that doesn't happen with me because it's a tool for me to, it guides me through the day, and it makes me sort of stick to a little healthier options, healthier food towards the late in the evening, and stick to my exercise routine. It tells me so many things. That's why I like it. And I really highly recommend any kind of like Whoop or
Yeah.
this or Ultra Human, anything.
Okay, lovely. What is a drink you recommend or some sort of concoction that you should start your day with, which is very beneficial for weight loss?
So we have different drinks for different health issues since we
Okay.
handle a whole plethora of health issues
Okay,
for
so say for
everyone.
someone like me who's a middle-aged woman,
Hmm.
quite a busy, hectic lifestyle.
So I believe in taking warm water with I believe in taking warm water with lemon manuka honey. Manuka has added advantage, but the real ones, okay? You have a lot of fake ones available.
Hmm.
So it makes your gut microbiome much better and decreases acidity. And a lot of people have gut issues in today's world, Masoom. So and that is what is causing my recommendation for this water is literally on 70% of the diet charts because of the kind of issues they're having, gut issues or acidity or gas.
Amazing. But doesn't Ayurveda say that if you put honey in warm water, it becomes sugar? I mean,
Honey
I
is
could be
sugar.
wrong. I think I've read
No,
this.
honey is sugar. Of course, it's very high in calories. So the amount of honey use is important.
Okay.
It has to be like maybe 1 teaspoon.
But that 1 teaspoon is very beneficial.
Yes.
Okay.
You
Okay.
need to have a alkaline body first thing in the morning, and this helps.
Do celebrities also need to cheat on their diet?
Of course, everyone needs to deviate. So I stopped using the word cheat.
Okay. So what is the word?
So we say deviation or indulgences.
Okay. Okay.
So I also indulge. I this is given in everyone's diet that once a week you must indulge in what you like. But of course, not whole day, just one item. So if someone likes an ice cream, someone is fond of Indian mithai, or someone likes a burger, or someone likes a pizza, anything.
What is a wellness trend that celebs and high profile clients of yours come and they swear by, but you think is an absolute farce?
Cold plunge, that ice plunge which people are doing, is I think is totally overrated. Um, but the best thing to do is maybe take a cold shower, right? That will really activate all your.
But why is cold plunge overrated?
I think it's a fad, and people just doing it to put it on the Instagram.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true, though. That's true.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
did myself when we had gone to Iceland, and
Yeah.
it makes you feel fantastic. Okay, so I from the I did take. Because it takes courage for you to take a cold plunge. So it's basically maybe testing your own courage going into cold,
Absolutely.
because we are so used to hot baths.
Yeah.
So I always test myself. I have cold shower at least twice in a week.
And what are the benefits of a cold shower?
Of course, it increases your metabolism for very short term, because your body rushes to again stabilize its body temperature. And it's nothing is proven, but maybe it detoxifies, and maybe it improves your skin texture. Maybe of course it improves your blood circulation. That's the, I think, the biggest take from a cold shower. So I did do a polar plunge also. I went to Antarctica, and my God, it was tough, but I did it and I felt so good.
Wow. So
Mhm.
what was the polar plunge? Tell me.
So you just have
You
to,
wear a wetsuit.
yeah, no,
Okay.
just a normal swimming costume.
Oh,
Really low, I don't know. So we just jumped into the ocean in Antarctica.
oh my
And
God.
yeah, and then you have to somehow climb back up. And it was, my God, I was so cold, but it felt so good.
That's also the brain in the unknown,
Yes,
right? It's
yes,
also the brain kind of activating that you've pushed a boundary, you've overcome a challenge, and
yes.
that's kind of
That is
that.
what I love about either the cold bath or the cold plunge or the ice
Hmm.
plunge and
It's
the.
pushing your own limits.
Yes, you need to experience all different limits in your life and try to always exceed that.
What would you say are the five worst things that Indians include in their diet?
The five things which Indians do all the time, worst is of course papad, and the second, believe it or not, but bhujia.
I love bhujia. It's another
I
Marwadi thing.
Yeah, it's not Marwadi, it's a whole India thing.
Oh, really?
I just don't understand what is the love about bhujia. And the third thing
It's
is
delicious.
samosa. Samosa, which is, it's like Karela and neem chada. It is potatoes and it is maida and it is fried. Can you imagine?
That's why it tastes so good.
I know. So these are the three things, of course, I don't like. And then another Indian dessert, which I think is really unhealthy for everyone, which people love, and I used to love when I was small, is jalebi. It is again Karela and neem.
You're shattering some
Yeah,
things right now inside me.
so there are healthier option of desserts. So jalebi is literally It is refined flour and lot of like the paste is made with lot of ghee and everything, and then it is fried, and then it is dipped
Deep fried.
into,
Ghee
my
again.
God, into the sugar syrup.
Oh yeah.
So it's so acidic, so acidic. Yeah. So that is another food I think is very, very unhealthy. And the fifth one, but not the least, is whole India loves supari. Can you imagine? Now, supari is like, the betel nut. They
Yeah.
all have in different forms, right? So it is maybe not so popular, pan parak supari type, in many now the metro cities, but the whole of rural or the two-tier, one-tier cities,
They all are
people, yeah,
consuming
they
it.
all consume. So now the problem with that is not only it is addictive, also it has the betel nut can really bring your iron levels down. Yeah, because it's not proven, it's not spoken, but I have seen people who take a lot of supari, they have lower iron levels of iron, and it's very difficult to push that back again. So these are the five food I think can really be avoided by
Hmm.
every Indian.
What is a wellness trend that you believe in that everyone is talking about?
I think another new trend which has really come out is rucking, where you take 10% of your body weight on your back and walk. So, walking is very important for to prevent your bones from osteoporosis, and at the same time you are increasing your muscle activity. So the muscle gain starts because of that. So it is doesn't damage really. Yeah.
So how do you carry
So you
this?
carry like a
Backpack.
backpack.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah. So like your 40 kilos, you can carry 4 kilos. You look
Oh,
40 kilos to
amazing.
me.
I'm gonna try this.
So you
Okay.
get these rucking packs in, yeah. So this is something I believe in, and which is new trend, and people can try unless they have issues with their frozen shoulders, etc. They need to talk to the physiotherapist.
Okay, super.
And another one I believe is in glutathione.
What is glutathione?
It's another super antioxidant. So the side effect of this vitamin, if taken with vitamin C, is fairness.
Ah,
So I've been giving this since 15 years to brides for fairness. But then during COVID, I discovered that it is extremely healthy for keeping your immunity high because it's a super antioxidant. So I take one every day without vitamin C, and we give it also for liver detoxifying. There is a huge trend; people are taking injectables of glutathione that can be sometimes dangerous.
and that's for fairness.
Yeah, for fairness and also detox, because after drinking, people take glutathione
Yes.
next morning. It's every wedding there is a counter for this.
Oh, that's glutathione.
Yeah, and also anti-acidity. They have both. Glutathione is there.
How do you feel about sugar alternatives? Honey, jaggery. Is it marketing? Is it just sugar at the end of the day?
5 gram of sugar will give you 20 calories. 5 gram of jaggery, almost the same. Same thing with honey. All of them give same amount of
Calories.
calories, right? So what is different about them is that honey will have some antimicrobial properties. Jaggery will have some extra minerals in it, where sugar is pure sugar. Okay. So, but a lot of my clients are putting sugar or honey in their tea, coffees, etc. But at the same time, they're having desserts. I said, don't do that. Yeah. If you enjoy your tea with your sugar, take it, but don't have any dessert. So it's okay to, it's the amount you take which is important. It is, so my thumb rule is 2 teaspoons in a day in your beverages. And if you can avoid, it's best for your skin and immunity. But it
Oh.
is doesn't really matter whether you're taking jaggery or sugar or honey.
And one can of Coca-Cola is how much sugar?
Oh,
How many teaspoons?
one can would be 68 teaspoons minimum.
8
Yeah,
teaspoons of
yeah,
sugar.
yeah.
You're joking.
160 calories. Between 7 to 8 teaspoons
That's
of
what makes
sugar.
you feel so good.
Yeah, sugar rush. And it wakes you up because it's caffeine, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, that is one thing I gave up when I was 30. I don't have aerated drinks. And I replaced it with beer.
Okay. Amazing.
Joking. So I did one experiment on me. So I wanted to have a beer a day and lose weight? When you ask me that
Why you
question,
love beer?
I love beer. So I did that for a month. Okay. And I did lose 1.5 kgs, by the way. A
Oh my
beer a
God.
day and 1.5 kgs in a month. Yeah. And
Beer lovers will be very happy with
yeah, very
this.
happy. But of course, it's very addictive. So I
Yeah.
had another guy coming. His name is Mr. Shah. And he said, I want to lose weight. He was 115 kgs when he came. He said, but I have beer. I said, okay. I said, 10 beers. It's okay in a week, right? We'll cut it down. No, I have 10 in a day. I said,
Oh
Mr.
my
Shah,
God.
you cut it down you cut it down to two, then I'll take your case. He said, okay, ma'am, I will do as you say. And he lost 5 kg. I said, hi, very well done, everything. Then again met him after another 5 kgs, 10 kgs he's lost. I said, great job, Mr. Shah. I said, you see, you lost so well because you cut down your beer to two, right? He said, no, I cut down my beer by two. So I'm having eight
Oh
every
my
day.
God.
Yeah, he was an alcoholic. So I had to start treating him for that then. Yeah, but he did lose
Amazing.
weight. Yeah,
Amazing.
he took some time extra, maybe 4 or 5 months,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he was exercising a lot, playing a lot of badminton. etc. Mhm. I have some fun cases.
Okay, very interesting. See, I've learned so much today. Really, I really have. No,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much for watching or listening all the way through. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. It helps this show reach more incredible people like you, and most importantly, get closer to our goal to build an incredible community with the Masoom Minawala show. My goals with this show are audacious, and you all are the most important part of this journey. I want to create for you. So tell me what you want to hear. What stories could change your life? I read every single comment, and your reflections honestly help us shape where this show goes next. I'll see you in the next one.